early half of the 20th century, two different authors penned two different books that were probably the most successful and most read dystopias. And a dystopia, I don't know if you know that word. A utopia describes this great, wonderful scenario or place. A dystopia is just the opposite. You know, it's like when everything goes wrong and it's showing a vision of the future where everything is terrible. Now, one of those was by George Orwell, a Brit, and he wrote the book 1984. And if you read that book, you remember Big Brother is watching you. And in fact, you had the TV screen was there. You watch it, but more importantly, it would watch you. It had a camera that would watch you and monitor you every minute. It was a surveillance society in which the government used that to control and limit what people could think. And it's a very powerful vision. But there was another man who wrote a dystopia around the same time period, which I think has proved more accurate. Aldous Huxley wrote Brave New World. And he described a world that was a little bit different. It was still a place where people could not function well, but it was not because the government was coercing them, but rather because the very nature of society had trivialized them, especially through amusements and entertainments. Neil Postman, great sociologist who wrote Amusing Ourselves to Death, he wrote this: Orwell warns that we will become overcome by an externally imposed oppression. But in Huxley's vision, no big brother is required to deprive people of their autonomy, maturity, and history. As he saw it, people will come to love their oppression, to adore the technologies that undo their capacities to think. And he goes on a little bit. What Orwell feared were those who would ban books. What Huxley feared was that there would be no reason to ban a book, for there would be no one who wanted to read one. Orwell feared those who would deprive us of information. Huxley feared those who would give us so much that we would be reduced to passivity and egoism. Orwell feared that the truth would be concealed from us. Huxley feared the truth would be drowned in a sea of irrelevance. Orwell feared that we would become a captive culture. Huxley feared that we would become a trivial culture. And Neil Postman goes on. In 1984, the book, people are controlled by inflicting pain, but in Brave New World, they are controlled by inflicting pleasure. In short, Orwell feared that what we hate will ruin us. Huxley feared that what we love will ruin us. Which one do you think got it more right? Now, I'm not saying that Orwell didn't get anything right, especially when you look at countries like China today that are this kind of a society, or more and more. But I think we could say that in our culture, at least, especially when we look at this, no big brother is required to deprive people of their autonomy, maturity, and history. So when we've got average Americans watching 90 hours of media consumption per week, I think we could say we're almost there, if not completely there.